Welcome to 3150 Harvester, which is our corporate office here in Canada, where we've graciously working with our friends at Gaussian here to show you the Ecobot 40. So I want to introduce Joe and as well Oliver, who are with Gaussium here in Canada and Ontario. Joe specifically does a lot of the technical support and all the work. And here we have our Ecobot 40. First of all, probably the thing that strikes you most is the size of the unit. It's probably the footprint is not a whole lot larger in terms of the actual floor footprint, but the unit itself is quite substantial, closer to, I believe, 200 kilograms. I'm going to verify that. It's quite a sturdy and robust unit. We are unable to carry it around. We had to transport it with an appropriate vehicle yesterday to bring it in. So I'm going to turn things over to Joe here, and he's going to walk through some of the features and benefits of the machine.
This machine is the model type is we call it the 40. This is our vacuum machine.
Yes,
for 40. Yeah, and we equip this machine is equipped with two side brushes, and there are suction motor inside.
Cylindrical brush, yes.
Yeah, and then do the vacuum inside. So we have already scanned the map yesterday afternoon, and have already created a path for our Canadian task. So later on, I can show you how this machine works, and we can design any task as we want. Mm-hmm. Yeah,
so totally customizable as far as the paths.
Definitely.
And there is not a limited number of paths. It's really infinite, isn't it? You can put as many paths into the unit as you will. When you purchase this particular machine, you buy the updates forever. So there's no additional user fees. Once this machine is purchased and or leased up front, those updates and all those changes that come forthcoming are all included. There's no additional hidden charges or fees that come up with this particular grouping, which is one of the really things that was exciting for me as we look at all the units. And Gaussian don't just make this unit, they make a number of units going up in scale, and more excitingly, recently at the international show at the ISSA in Amsterdam, they won an award for their new model, which is a much smaller profile Fantas, but it's a smaller profile version of this, which is very exciting for us because we're going to probably show that in a lot of areas, including long-term care across the country. So they've now just launched that. So they represent a whole breadth of products, and this is one of the exciting things for us is they go far beyond one unit, and they have a full complement of equipment.
And also we can combine different tasks together, different paths into just one task, and with some designed point like the maintenance point,
yeah,
and our navigation point and our landmark point.
So marrying a very number of paths together to make it continuous.
Yeah, making different paths with different minds together into just one task.
Which is interesting because if you have a big enough space, but this particular unit and the 50, which is the hard floor scrubber, they both have a self-docking option. And this model and the 50 have the ability to self-dock. So quite frankly, if we had to marry some paths together, and it also required for the unit to come in and self-dock and charge, it would have that ability, and then it could go out after that too if it required to, if it was a big enough area. You know, if we ever get into a big, opportunity, say like a casino or something like that, where you needed to marry those paths up and also have the additional charging feature, I personally think the self-docking and the charging feature is a huge step up. And these guys, again, have jumped light years away, and that's why they're the leaders. These machines are very smart, and in the mapping, there's some key indicators you can provide to the machine so that it knows when you place it in an area, it recognizes where it is based on the path that's in there. And there's also several reference points throughout the map that it will recognize and know exactly where it is. So Joe's going to move the machine
To the landmark point.
to a landmark point. Thank you.
Yeah. Okay, thank you.
There's also several speed options.
Rotating success.
Bonus success.
Task started.
Excusez-moi.
Oh, it does it bilingually as well, too, I might add.
Excusez-moi.
What we created essentially was a perimeter path with this, and now the robot is taking the most intelligent form of area to fill in and cover that space in what was the perimeter clean. So similar, I think, to some experiences you would have, we've allowed it to do this on its own now because it's the most efficient way for it to cover this area in the shortest period of time. You also have the option of doing essentially walking it and doing teach and repeat, if you will, which is, I think, a term commonly we use around robotics, that we can walk it and teach it and repeat, and it will repeat exactly the path that we chose it to do it. So that's one of a couple of ways that this particular machine can be mapped. Interesting enough, this machine has a great option by which when you walk that area, you can clean up the map and add features that require for optimum efficiency. So as an example, you can see the glass here. As you're probably aware with robotics, there are issues with glass. So in this particular case, Joe put in a wall, if you will, in a matter of seconds on the map so that the glass did not cause any kind of significant issues with the unit. And so now it sees, when it sees the glass in this particular path we've asked it to do, it is in fact, it's recognizing the wall that Joe's put in there. So it's following that path, and then it's going to continue on to do the cleaning down the hall, which is, and then again, there's a mobile app. We don't have it hooked up today because unfortunately we don't have a SIM in this, but this card in this particular model, but there's a mobile app that you can hook up to, and it would provide you with a dashboard and all the necessary information, including, did it run its path, was it successful, and all the various features that we would want in a mobile app. And I think, Joe, when it comes down here, we can probably shut it down at this point. That's good. If we can do that.
Task
Yeah.
pause.
If we want, we can just pause the task.
Yeah, well, I think we probably could shut it down at this particular
okay.
point, and then
We can continue and just
yeah. So
stop.
it's completed at this point. Just show if you can show this.
Okay.
So it's 62% of the program we'd put has been completed. To Joe's comment, he can pause it now, and it can complete it on its own. The remaining 30% that needs to happen. But I think probably you've got a good enough picture now of what's been going on and how we would do big spaces. So I think, Joe, we can probably shut this down.
Okay, no problem.
Now, did you want to, while we're right here, before we go, now that shows the cleaning path there too, that Joe did you
The
just
map.
the map, and
And
that
the
gives you
path.
a task report.
The task.
Now that report, if we had the mobile app, that task report would show up, so he would know what's been repeated or completed.
Or sent to your email, or sent to text
Text
message.
message or app.
Whatever form
Yeah.
of
Great.
mechanism that would have to happen. So so that can all be sent to you in any whatever form, and also to whoever we need it to go to, right?
Yes.
So if you need somebody on site to receive this, and you in your capacity as overseeing all of it, you would want to know that. But obviously, from a customer standpoint, you need to know the work got done, and that reporting is available to you and rolls up into a dashboard that you can either see on your phone or your laptop. If we can come in and show them where the vacuum and where the key goes in and all those good kind of things, but to activate the machine.
Yeah, actually, the operate of this machine is quite simple. We have a key switch here. To the left is off, and the right is
on.
Is on, and we have a key like this. We can turn the machine on and off.
Off.
Also, We have one more air brake down below here. We can turn the electrical supply completely by.
You can shut down the supply of the power if you had to.
Air brake, yes.
And that air brake has to be on to charge, correct?
Yeah.
Yeah. It only charges with the air brake on. So,
Yeah.
and we can show that at a different time. And the vac bag is inside this particular, and you have a shaker bag on there
We can change it and
Yeah.
clean it.
as well too. So, anyways, just while we had it here, okay, so we can
Yeah.
probably shut this down.